There's a lot of unsolved, unexplained, and odd mysteries out there. So much so, we here at Unexplained Possibilities decided to search around and find some interesting mysteries to share with you. I'm Neima Ash, and I'm joined by that Crimson Bull Melvin, and this is Unexplained Possibilities, 5 odd and unexplained mysteries.
Art can be looked at in many ways, and we've all experienced different emotions when viewing it. However, two things in the art realm will forever remain firm. The first is that modern art is but ugly, and the second is when you view the Madonna with Saint Giovannino, you're left scratching your head asking, what the heck did I just notice? The painting depicts Mary, baby Jesus, and baby Saint John. They're gazing at each other lovingly without a care in the world, if only they knew what would occur 30 or so years later. The painting was done in the 15th century and credited to Domenico Ghirlandaio. There is some controversy on if he's the actual painter or not, but it really doesn't matter. Jesus, John, and Mary don't matter either. What does matter is that weird object in the background. I think Obi-Wan says it best.
That's no moon.
The object in question is very much a UFO, and it had to have been deliberately put in there, as it's noticed by the man and the dog in the background of the painting. So now we must ask, what the heck did Domenico see in his life that can fly, looks metallic, and has a shine? Also, would this point to Domenico suggesting Jesus is an alien? Sadly, we'll never know.
Usually, we go to the hospital, it's because we're feeling sick or injured. Or if you're from the States, it's because you want to go bankrupt. In February of 1994, it was the former for Gloria Ramirez, who was suffering from cervical cancer. When Gloria was admitted into the hospital, she was sweating a weird, oily-like substance and was said to be extremely confused. Also extremely confused was the doctors and nurses tending to her. It's said that 23 of them started to feel unwell and fainted. This happened minutes after working on Gloria. Gloria would end up passing away shortly after her arrival to the hospital, and out of the 23 medical staff that worked on her, 5 of them had to be hospitalized, and 1 of them was admitted to intensive care. The county health department claims this happened because of mass hysteria. However, those who were affected disagree. In the end, this event gave Gloria Ramirez the title of the Toxic Woman.
Every once in a while, the face of Jesus or Mary will appear on a piece of toast or a tortilla. However, what would you do if faces started to appear on the house of your kitchen floor? Such a thing happened to Maria Gomez Carmen and her husband, Juan Pereira. This phenomenon would later be called the Faces of Belmez. Maria noticed the faces on the floor and tells her husband, who decides to teach the floor and the faces a lesson by hitting it with a pickaxe and destroying them. Surprisingly, this didn't work and the faces came back. Word spread about the faces, and the mayor of Belmez asked for the floor to be studied. An explanation was never found on how the faces appeared, and adding to this, Maria claims that after 30 years of living at that home, more faces would show. Eventually, the kitchen floor was removed and human remains were found. It's speculated the house was built on a graveyard and the faces were those of the ones whose remains were resting under the house.
Kids should never leave their parents' sides, and parents should always keep an eye on their kids. Sadly, back in 2005, in a Japanese bamboo forest, these rules weren't followed. Yuki Onishi was digging up bamboo with her mother at the Kagawa Prefecture's Goshikide Forest for Greener Day. After finding her first bamboo shoot and giving it to her mother, Yuki would run off to search for another. 20 minutes had passed and Yuki didn't return. Yuki's mother and the other diggers started a search. Up to 3,000 people got involved in the search for Yuki, but they failed to find her and even a clue to where she may have been. Police brought in several search dogs that caught her scent, but it all ended in the same location, the middle of the forest. Every single dog lost track of Yuki's scent in the middle of the forest. No one can explain why, and there are theories she may have been abducted by one of the people in the forest, but ultimately, no one knows. It's as if she vanished into thin air.
Every now and then, it's good to go to the great outdoors to refresh yourself from the hustle and bustle of life. It's especially great when you're doing it with close friends. However, I must warn you, do not go to the Ural Mountains. If you do, you might end up like 9 unlucky hikers. The Dyatlov Pass incident, as it has come to be called, is something that happened back in 1959. Russian students decided to go to the mountains to have a good time and blow off some steam from classes. The last image of the hikers was them setting up camp. After this picture was taken, disaster struck for all 9 of them. 6 of the hikers died from hypothermia. As for the other 3, one died from a fractured skull, another died from internal injuries including brain trauma, but there was no signs of physical trauma, and it was so bad it would have been impossible for a human to cause. The final hiker was missing her tongue and her eyes. There have been theories of alien attack, a Yeti, experimental weapons used by the military, and even an avalanche, but all those theories have been disproven. The only thing we know for certain is that something happened to those 9 hikers on that mountain, and we will never find out what that was.
And with that, we conclude Unexplained Possibilities, 5 Odd and Unexplained Mysteries. Thank you all for checking it out, and if you have your own odd and unexplained story, feel free to share it with us in the comments section down below, and tell us what you think about ours. Also, be sure to follow Unexplained Possibilities on social media, and those links can be found in the description below. Thank you all again for watching, and we will be seeing you next time.